ever think to yourself, man, why is it so hard for me to just do the things I need to do and focus and remember things and manage my time and be organized and remember things and not get sidetracked? Ha! Yeah, me neither. When I was a kid, I was pretty much the picture-perfect depiction of a good student. I was well-organized, always turned in my work on time, got good grades. I even did my homework on Fridays instead of procrastinating until Sunday night. Sure, I didn't like studying and found it hard to focus during it, but who didn't? Seeing all those qualities put together, that doesn't sound like the brain of someone with any kind of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, does it? I was well-behaved, didn't feel like I struggled much in school, and didn't cause any trouble. That is, up until I moved out of my parents' house for the first time to go to college. Gradually, I started slipping. I began skipping classes a bit when I just didn't feel like going, would wait until the last moment to start classwork, and lost a lot of motivation because I wasn't interested in any of my schoolwork. But overall, even though it was pretty out of character for me, I chalked it all up to the fact I was simply over going to school. At the same time, my YouTube was really kicking off, and all I wanted to do was that. Of course, I wasn't going to be as good of a student when the silly YouTube videos were doing numbers. I finished a single year of college and convinced my parents to let me take a gap year to see where this YouTube thing can take me. Spoiler alert, the gap year turned into me never going back. I'm a college dropout. So great, I've eliminated the boring school part of my life that weighs me down. Now I can go back to being organized with my new exciting passion job, which entails being my own boss and having to manage and assign myself all of my own responsibilities 24/7. Quiet, the voice is now getting quieter. It's almost like everything was going backwards. I was having a much harder time staying organized and focused. If I didn't want to do a certain type of work, I would have to shackle myself down in basically an isolation chamber to be able to get it done. If I found a new interest, it was all I could think about. And why is it so easy to suddenly be on your roof watching a YouTube video on how to know when you need new shingles? I really didn't get it. Child me had it held together more than current me. What went wrong? I could look back and recognize how everything used to be so perfect and easy. Look at tiny Jaden and all her ducks in that row. I used to color code every single binder I owned, and now I don't even know where I placed the $20 I literally just had in my hand 3 minutes ago. I haven't even left the room. Genuinely, where could it go? Despite feeling like I was downward spiraling for multiple years, I never suspected it could be something related to a genetic neurodevelopmental disorder. I just thought I wasn't trying hard enough and being lazy or applying myself like I used to. Oh, the woes of turning into an adult, I suppose. Maybe the best years of your life truly are in high school. How upsetting. I didn't even enjoy those either. But then one day I got a text from my brother. I got diagnosed with ADHD. It was a pretty big surprise for me because growing up, he never really seemed to show any of the typical symptoms you associate with ADHD. You know, people would always describe ADHD to me as super hyper kids who would run around the room and scream and generally be a lot. That wasn't my brother. He was quiet and well behaved like I was. But when he started explaining his symptoms, the gears started turning. Yeah, I've always struggled a lot with focusing in school and having things hold my attention when it's boring. But, I could hyperfixate on things I'm interested in and get really passionate about that stuff. Hearing him talk about his personal symptoms of ADHD made a lot of sense, and I felt very freshly educated on the topic. And you'd think that I would immediately start looking into getting a diagnosis for myself, because if you were paying attention, my brother's experiences all sounded very similar to the same struggles I've been having in my own life, but related to work instead of school, because I dropped out. But nope, I was just like, good for you, bro, happy for you. Or, I'm sorry, I don't know. Anyway, back to struggling to simply open up my drawing program as if 2 blocks of iron were welded to my wrists. Imbalance of brain chemicals? Nah, this just happens from time to time. It's normal. Just the laziness kicking in. I hate Mondays, am I right? Even though I didn't instantly think there was a possibility of me also having ADHD, the mental seed was planted. It's genetic, so I knew subconsciously it ran in the bloodline. It took a few years after my brother was diagnosed for me to really sit down with myself and consider that I, too, could have ADHD. Shocking revelation, I know. Foreshadowing, where did you come from? Things in the focus and productivity department were just getting getting worse and worse. I had the attention span of a cartoon dog, would completely forget things as soon as they entered my head, would hyperfixate on random stuff like an addict, and there was constant civil war happening inside my head to get one thing done, even though I knew it would only take like 15 minutes. You don't understand. It feels like physical torture to make myself sit down and lip sync a simple scene, like most of the time. You know, the thing I've been doing for 10 years at this point and am definitely used to doing. And yeah, once I've gotten going, then I'm honed in and you have to pry me away from it with a crowbar. I'm aware of that part. But nah, I'm still gonna scrap with myself to plant my ass in that chair because I don't even know why at this point. The biggest thing holding me back from feeling like I had ADHD has always been the simple memory of being in school and having my shit together. I know what it feels like to be on top of things and to be organized. I had it all in the palm of my little child hand. I just needed to summon it again with a bit more effort. But a light switched off in my brain and suddenly I'm just not capable of the things I used to be, and it feels pathetic. Simple tasks are such a mental burden, it feels like I'm out of control but can't do anything about it. So finally, I figured I would try and get myself diagnosed. What did I have to lose? If anything, they just tell me, no, you don't have ADHD, try a little harder and stop complaining. And yes, of course it took me like 8 months after deciding to get diagnosed to schedule the actual appointment. What did you expect? That's like the first checkmark box on the ADHD list. I started seeing a psychologist and he would ask the typical, do you have a hard time focusing? And I'd go, yeah, like this one time yesterday, and then he writes something down as I continue rambling on this hyper-specific example way too long for a neurotypical person. I met with him for a few weeks, and then it came down to diagnosis day. The nerves, man. I was so ready for him to say I'm a normal person who needs to suck it up. But instead, he was like, okay, so yeah, you definitely exhibit symptoms of someone with the inattentive type of ADHD. And autism. Yippee! My struggles are justified. I'm not crazy. Wait, what was that last part? He explained all the different ways ADHD affects me and the different areas I struggle with compared to others. He even gave me a 37-page document of his conclusions and information on how my brain works, with graphs and pictures. I've read through it all a bunch of times now, and it's already really helped me understand how I tick. I call them the autism docs, but I'm not going to get into that side of the diagnosis. Let's just brush that one away for now. There's a couple types of ADHD you can have: hyperactive, inattentive, and combined, which is both hyperactive and inattentive. Hyperactive is the type people typically go to when they think of a loud kid who can't sit still. People with this kind normally need to fidget, have low patience, tend to talk a lot, and have trouble staying seated, especially when they're expected to, like in a meeting or school. Inattentive is the one where someone experiences difficulty in focus, memory, organization, has a low attention span. That's the one I have. It's self-explanatory, but if you have the combined type of ADHD, then you got it all. ADHD jackpot right there, my friend. I brought up during the appointments that I used to be such a good kid in school with seemingly zero ADHD symptoms, and how that part has always confused me. And he had a couple hypotheses about it. One, since my mom has always been a big source of my organizational influence, I was able to depend and lean on her for the majority of my school life for it. I felt like I was naturally capable of staying on top of things because she was right behind me the whole time, reminding me and guiding me through stuff. So when I moved out, everything started crumbling, which lines up pretty perfectly to when I did start struggling. Another explanation he gave was the fact that ADHD affects women differently than men, which is also less researched. Love to hear that one. Not only do women tend to be able to mask their symptoms better than guys, so it goes much more unnoticed, but they also experience ADHD differently. And research says there's a chance it can just start affecting women later in life. I'm no ADHD scientist though, that's just what I've been told by specialists. I don't know, I've just got the dang thing. Either way, those two explanations make a lot of sense to me and have since put my weird ADHD imposter syndrome to rest. I didn't really think that getting a diagnosis would change much about how I go about my life, but since getting my ADHD certificate and lollipop, it's completely revolutionized how I think and go about getting things done. It's still when I need to do one normal thing that's not difficult, but I'm much less hard on myself and will strike almost like these kinds of mental deals to loophole myself into getting things done. Like, for example, if I really don't want to edit a video, I'll say to myself, okay, I know it's going to be super hard for me to immediately start that task, so I'll get myself into the mindset of getting things done by doing a simple other task I don't find difficult, like cleaning my room. That way, I'll feel productive and can transition that into tackling the original task much easier. It doesn't always work, but it's the mindset change and overall understanding that sometimes I'm gonna have to go about things in different ways that's helped me a lot. Also, after being diagnosed with ADHD, I didn't have much desire to get medicated. I figured just knowing I have it would be enough to get things into gear, and I didn't really need medication that badly. But the content creator in me also thought, well, if I'm gonna write a script about having ADHD, it would be nice to be able to talk about what it's like to be medicated, even just for a day. So I got prescribed good old classic instant release Adderall. Instant release means I don't have to take it every day. I can just take it when I need to get stuff done. It affects me immediately and then wears off after a few hours. There's also extended release, which is the kind you take every day and gives you a constant, steady stream of medication. It wasn't until I had the Adderall in my hands when I realized the idea of taking it for the first time made me nervous. Like, what is this thing gonna do to me? I have so many friends with ADHD, honestly a higher ratio than friends without it. That's how it goes in content creation. All these MFs have it. They were all telling me that it's awesome, how you'll take it and immediately feel like a god, and you can do anything and it's incredible. And yeah, that sounds great, but also like, what the hell? What do you mean I take this little pill and suddenly all of my problems seemingly disappear and I gain superpowers? That's scary. That sounds like the thing every adult in a 20-mile radius warned us about when we were kids. Am I gonna feel like a completely different person? I don't know if I'm ready to experience immortality. I put off taking Adderall for so long because I was irrationally scared of the tiny blue pill, but coincidentally, I really needed to get a script done. If I take too long to write a video script, then the team runs out of work to do, and then I have a bunch of people sitting around and waiting for me to give them more work so they can pay their bills and survive and stuff. But for the freaking life of me, I just could not get myself to sit down and write that script. My body and soul found it mentally easier to backflip off a bridge than write words on the computer. After literally 2 months of my brain going, ooh, you better write that script. I won't let you enjoy a single moment of your life if you aren't writing that script. I don't wanna. Get up, go to the bridge. After that constant loop, I finally swallowed my fears and took my first Adderall. I had talked to James a lot about what Adderall is like since he's been on it for a few years now, and after I took one, I was messaging him like, I did it. I ate an Adderall. How long does it normally take to start? How do I know? What do I do? And he was helping me a lot and giving me tips. Then, like 20 minutes later, I felt it. All the non-stop thoughts going on in my brain went silent. I could think clearly and in like a line. My mind wasn't racing a mile a minute. I was able to sit behind my laptop and write. It was incredible. I was messaging all my friends about it the entire time. I can write my script and not get distracted. I don't have to take a mental break every 10 minutes. I can remember things. Kelsey sent me a message and I thought, I'll check that in a bit. And I remembered to check it in a bit and respond. When I opened a new tab to look something up, I didn't go down a random unrelated rabbit hole. I picked up my phone to check something and didn't impulsively scroll Twitter for an hour. I can write words so easily. How am I doing this? What do you mean I can feel like this whenever I want if I just eat the tiny blue pill? I refuse to believe regular people can function like this on a day-to-day basis. No way. It wouldn't be fair. You guys don't have loud, non-stop voices in your heads preventing you from doing normal things? Come on, just admit it. You can't pick something up and immediately keep remembering what you were supposed to be doing with it. You always forget and feel crazy. Come on. Come on. I was so suspicious that on Adderall, either nothing would happen and I just wouldn't feel anything, or I would feel like I'm a totally different person experiencing some higher than life manic episode. But no, I just felt like myself, but with my shit together. And that's the part I couldn't believe. After 2 months of war, I finally was able to plant myself down and write my damn script. You wanna know what script I wrote while experiencing Adderall for the first time? This one. I was struggling to write a script about ADHD, and the thing that finally pulled it out of me was Adderall. You gotta admit that's funny. Yeah, it was great. I didn't think my head was loud before, or I was that impulsive, or had that hard of a time focusing. But now that I've been able to peacefully sit in one spot for hours and not need to take a break, or check social media, or get distracted by some stupid tangent I don't actually care about, yeah, this changes things.
Schneller finden, was du suchst? Nutze deine Kamera einfach mit Chrome.
my mind off of every little wrong. I see them out. Furbies. Some of you may have heard that a while back, Jacob and their team created a little something called Pokemon Too Many Types. It's just a normal game of Pokemon Emerald, but you might notice some things are just a little bit different. Everyone has talked about how chaotically fun this game is, and I finally found the time to play it myself. Let me tell you, everyone was right. This was the most insane, backwards, chaotic playthrough of Pokemon I've had in quite some time. Professor Birch is being mauled by a dog in the grass right outside my house for the millionth time, and after digging around in his stuff, I helped myself to a Poplio. But not just any Poplio, for you see, this one is silly. Obviously, I blast the Angie Pucciana to smithereens, and with that, have now earned the freedom to explore the world on my own. Yep, it's dawning on me that I have no idea how anything works anymore. Trainers had all these new Pokemon, they're pulling out moves I've never seen before, types don't line up the way I'm familiar with. It genuinely felt like I was playing Pokemon for the very first time again. Weasel is Water Fluffy, Snom is Ice Bean, Machop is fighting Stinky. Papio, give that thing a shower, it reeks. Oh, that's super effective. I suppose that makes a lot of sense. Going into this game, I decided not to look at the type chart at all, which by the way looks like this. I'm gonna have to unfortunately use my brain and logic to figure out how to win every single battle until I'm the champion, which may be a bit trickier than you would even guess. For example, this Impidimp. He has now been turned into a dark gamer Uno reverse type. Naturally. I figured Gamer might work similarly to the Stinky type and be weak to water. That makes sense, right? Alright, look, I didn't make the game, alright guys? I'm just figuring out the riddles. However, let's see what Gamer has to say against the water type. Take a shower. What? It's got... What?
So here's
No.
the logic you got to think about. Not only is it a gamer type, it is an Uno reverse gamer type.
Oh.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, as much as I might think I know how things would work, you're gonna witness that it doesn't always pan out the way it seems. I scooped myself up a Krabby, which, as you can see, is no longer water type, and entered the Rustboro Forest only to be challenged by a Team Aqua Grunt with a single Snow Runt. I wasn't worried until I realized the hard way that despite its silliness, Poplio still doesn't like grass, and crabs don't mix well with ice. Wiping this early in a Pokemon game is genuinely so humbling, and I don't like it at all. Honestly, I didn't even want to tell you that it happened in the first place, but we run it back because this isn't a Nuzlocke, and my little pets are perfectly healthy after being dunked on. This time, we send the Grunt hightailing it back into the bushes. Despite feeling dumb and stupid and pathetic for wiping to a level 9 Team Aqua Grunt with one Pokemon, I waltzed into the first gym with my chest out like I earned being there. As most of you know, Roxanne is typically a rock type trainer, but she's now studied the ways of the ancient type Pokemon, which I didn't think would be much different until she completely steamrolled me. Oh shit. I got Doggy, but Doggy isn't gonna do too much here. God damn it. Waste of a turn. No! Well, Hurlaleaf is crazy. Sus ancient grass type? How was I supposed to predict that one? What even is that? Now aware of the threat she had in her back pocket, I was able to navigate the rematch with Krabby the Fossil Killer, earning us our very first gym badge. Also, Geodude is boring, ugly rock. I just wanted to share that one with the room. We took a nice boat ride over to Dewford, where we got to meet lots of new friends in the local cave, like Clink, the Prime Steel Guys, and Sableye, the gamer, who has a little bit of an Easter egg attached to it.
Someone just pointed something out. Okay, will you trade?
Oh my god.
Will you move? Yep.
After saying hi and bye to Steven doing who knows what all alone with his cave rocks, we headed off to challenge Brawley. I opened the gym doors and was immediately hit with a wall of pure disgusting stench. Trying not to physically decay, we crawled through the gym's maze and were met by Stink Master Brawly and his smelly ass team. Krabby knocked his Mankey out cold, but Sock came out and started overwhelming my Pokemon one after the other. Get so much knowledge. Oh my god.
Like, why wouldn't it be?
So you can imagine I am not happy that this stupid thing is sweeping my team right now. Luckily, the Vulpix I caught earlier was able to tank its hits with its new Fluffy type, and together with our own little stinker of a Stunky, we were able to finish the fight. I snatched that badge from Brawly's greasy hand and basically swam to Slateport myself to wash the fumes off my clothes. To dissociate that disgusting experience away, I went and caught myself a new friend. A ground friend, to be specific, as well as a little fluffy stuffle. We also got to kick out Team Aqua, who was holding the poor Slateport museum lady hostage with a gun. Thank God they were only armed with a harmless water gun horsey, because I do not want to know what dealing with an actual threatening gun-type Pokemon would even look like. Battling more trainers on the route up to Mauville got me back into the mood to take on the third gym, so I shoved Wally out of the way and headed up to Watson. Things started off normal, but quickly spiraled out of control because after Sableye beat up his Porygon, Watson immediately brought out his ace. You know, his famous star Pokemon, Whimsicott. And this thing just starts spamming its new move called Hype Train. Yep, Watson specializes in prime-type Pokemon, which would definitely be a funny little hint hint, nudge nudge if I was streaming this on Twitch. But alas, here we are. Unfortunately, one cannot gift Prime subs to a YouTube channel. Sadly, all you can do is click the subscribe button. Isn't that just a shame? Well, whether you click the button or not, I got wrecked by this cotton ball. Hype Train works the same as Rollout, where each consecutive use gets stronger and stronger. And this Whimsicott must have had some sort of aimbot on, because it didn't miss a single one. It literally demolished my team the second it stepped onto the battlefield. I was also a bit unprepared and forgot to level everyone up. So let's just forget that fight even happened. Like, it wasn't even fair, so it doesn't count. Round 2 was where the real action was. This battle was much more neck and neck. Knowing what Watson's tactics were going into the fight, I was able to play around it much more easily. Jaden doesn't fall for the same charade more than one time. I'm like an AI learning machine, alright? I never lose the same fight twice. Don't look at that. With Watson defeated, I was now one step closer to becoming the strongest trainer in all of this topsy-turvy Hoenn. I caught myself a Hoenn, Swablu, and Skarmory while scaling the mountain, and even had time to smack the Team Magma nerds around while heading to Lava Ridge. To avoid another embarrassing under-leveled situation, I got everyone up to Flannery's level cap for a nice, clean, fair fight.
That's like, I think the thing that is hardest for me, oh god, reading comprehension. I think that's what I've decided on. My god!
Oh, wow.
My crabs! Buddy! Holy shit!
Yeah.
What is the downside of this mystic fire? I'm just so weak to fire. And warm hugs. Do I have to wipe to every gym? Flannery.
She's mean.
I don't know what that Ninetales is eating, but that thing is not normal. After changing absolutely nothing about my strategy and just running back into the gym directly from the Pokemon Center, I demanded a rematch. Like, her team of fluffy Pokemon aren't that tough. I just wasn't ready to be paralyzed and incinerated the whole fight by her puppies and kitties and that roided up monster of a Ninetales. This time, Kingler and Sandslash were able to double team Flannery's fluffy team with much more ease, earning us the Heat Badge. With half the gyms now defeated, it was finally time to deal with some long overdue family matters. It's well known that our father Norman abandoned our home to be a gym leader in Petalburg, leaving me and Mom back at the house alone. Little Root has like 5 people living in it, and one of them's a huge nerd. That's like a social death sentence for a growing child, and I am filled with a burning desire for justice. After all this time, all those days of having nothing to do but watch Birch go into the same stupid patch of grass and get mauled by the same stupid dog over and over and over, I get to walk into Norman's gym and challenge him as an equal. Whatever reasoning he had to leave us is gonna be revealed in our battle. And it better be good. I walked through the doors. The air was weird and tense. Each trainer I battled looked at me like they already knew exactly who I was and shifted their glance away out of embarrassment, shame. What is going on here? Not even the helpful gym guy had anything to say to me. He wouldn't even tell me the type theme of the gym. I burst through those final doors to find Norman looking out his windows at the horizon. He's been waiting for me.
Are you ready to fight Norman in his very fun and normal gym? Have you not picked up on it yet?
I haven't picked up on anything.
Say just keep going.
What is he gonna do? What Pokemon do he have? Wurzel? Okay. I don't get it. What is this riddle?
I'm just watching.
Glomp? Is it because he's only using attacks that are cute and family-like?
No.
Lopunny. He can't be a fluffy trainer. That was what Flannery was. Puddle Slam. No. Fluffy Furry. He said, is he a furry trainer?
Yes.
Norman.
Can't a man have hobbies?
Norman.
Look, there's nothing wrong with being a furry. Many of my friends are furries, but to abandon your family to selfishly pursue your passion for Lucarios and Vaporeons and Lopunnies, Norman, how could you? You tore our family apart. And for what? Glomps and colon threes? Admittedly, his team was too strong for me. The bond he shared with those Pokemon was unlike anything I've seen yet, and I was gonna have to go back to the drawing board if I was ever gonna defeat a divorced man and his beloved furry. I switched around some of my Pokemon, headed back in, and again began the onslaught of devastating glumps and cuddle slams, weaving through paralyzing warm hugs and even the occasional cute charm. Eventually, it came down to our last Pokemon.
Okay. Slash.
Oh.
No! Shadow Sneak, please.
You have a chance here.
Please. Yes!
Now that my furry father has been vanquished, I was filled with an overwhelming energy and drive. It was like I unlocked a version of myself that was capable of defeating anyone and everything in front of me. I beat up all of Team Aqua that was infiltrating the Weather Institute, cleared Winona's song and dance gym without breaking a sweat. Maxie stole the blue orb to awaken Groudon like an idiot, so I had to teach him a lesson. Again.
You're gonna use the wrong orb, idiot. Why do you think the blue orb would be good for Groudon? He hates blue!
Team Aqua Rats did the exact same thing, so I had to do the exact same thing to them. I was on a roll. It felt like I was back in my element, finally familiar with the types, and was absolutely thriving. We pulled up to Tate and Liza's gym, ready to let nothing slow us down, except it looks like they specialize in a type I hadn't seen up until this point, space. Well, time to slow down. Since I didn't have anything that could really handle space Pokemon, I went and caught myself a Buffalon, because everyone knows Ohio type is good against space. I mean, come on. As well as prepared Sandslash and Stunky for the fight. I wasn't too confident, but made my way to the gym leader's room to find Clay. Where's Tate and Liza? Aren't you supposed to be in Unova? I wasn't anticipating this, but I guess I should just start expecting the unexpected from this game.
It's a double. Okay, it's still a double battle. 41. Oh, we lose. We definitely lose. Gun time. This isn't space. Wait, what the f is going on here? I don't know what's good against gun. That is song. Sure, we'll just do that. Shoot. What the? He just shot my Goyle. He shot my guy again. That's so much damage for not very effective. Well, do that. Oh, he's dead. He's just so dead. bare arms? Oh my god, what is this? Dude, this guy's fighting me with the Constitution.
So this isn't actually a space-type gym like I was originally led to believe. This is, in fact, a gun gym. And I am being blasted to kingdom come by Mr. Red, White, and Blue over here. I failed to expect this level of unexpected, but how could I? We switched around my team again, this time for a high noon duel battle, headed back in, but honestly, it wasn't looking that great on attempt 2 of fighting a man with assault weapons.
And air cutter again. No! No! Take it, boys. Take it. Ah! Stop! How can you do this? There's nothing I can do about it. There's fucking nothing. This fight sucks balls. Whatever.
I genuinely think this clay fight was the most out of left field, chaotic, flabbergasting Pokemon battle I've gone through in my entire career as a Pokemon player. I don't think anything Pokemon could create would ever elicit the kind of shock and despair I felt fighting Clay, the Driftvale gym leader, in my Pokemon Emerald game.
Okay, I don't think this is enough yet. Oh, he went again, sorry. That's so lucky. Oh? Is this it? Yes! Clay, you rootin' tootin' good asshole. I'm not talking to you. Get me out of here.
I basically crawl out the gym with my badge like I just got out of a fight with Wile E. Coyote, because I basically did, and now I gotta go deal with whatever commotion Team Magma is creating in the space station. Withered and tired, I walk up the stairs to Maxie and Steven arguing about God knows what at this point. Girls, I'm gonna give it to you straight. I'm having a bit of a day. We all know we're just gonna hash this out in a battle, so let's just cut the chit-chat. Steven, get your ass over here. And after all of what I just went through, you guys are not going to believe what Steven put me through in that cursed space center. Yeah, so the first fight, I went into it unprepared because I didn't know the team Maxie and Fred were packing. So that was a bit of an unfortunate disadvantage. It's alright, we run it back, but this is where things go drastically downhill.
Hyper voice. Steven! You're just leaving me in the trenches? Why even try at this point? Thunder? Oh my fucking god, Steven, you idiot. Why do they only go against me? Why do they only go against me? Steven, you're the fucking Elite Four champion of Hoenn. Don't use Thunder on Aggron. It doesn't. In no world is it ever good. I swear to God, Steven. You're actually joking.
Steven, you're my guy. I've always had your back. I've been Team Steven since day one. But what in the world was that? This is not the playstyle of the region champion, buddy. Get up. Don't talk to me. I need some air. To blow off some much-needed steam, I infiltrated Team Aqua's hideout because Archie apparently didn't get the memo of my threat of a knuckle sandwich if he ever tried to use bread on Blue Kyogre. Knuckle sandwich is delivered, but unfortunately, too late. Kyogre is already halfway across the Pacific Ocean to go drown Groudon. Can any of you adults do anything right? Hello? Earth to Archie's brain? It's hollow! I scaled the sky tower to wake up Rayquaza and rat on the siblings duking it out in the middle of Sutopolis. Off he flew, and after a bit of non-gentle parenting, the two slinked back in their rooms in shame. Yay! Land and sea across the globe are safe once again. If I catch your asses playing with these arms again, I swear. Even though it was the 8th and final gym before taking on the Elite Four, Juan wasn't an issue. For some competitors, he could have been difficult because he actually ran a full-on crab team. Very intimidating. But I've also got a crab, and my crab is stronger than his crabs, so we won. After all I've gone through, this was the hardest I've had to claw my way to the Elite Four in a long time. But that just means victory is gonna taste oh so much sweeter. I entered Victory Road anticipating an easy dungeon clear, but from the shadows emerged Wally. I've beaten you before, I can beat you again. Holy mother! Okay, maybe that one was a bit of a fluke. I wasn't ready. This time, we'll... Turns out, Wally's tough. I didn't expect it, but he really is. This made me realize I'm not prepared for everything with my current roster of Pokemon, and if I'm going to become the champion, I need to make some big changes. I've been swapping around my team pretty casually over the course of my adventure, but after locking in, I decided on this as my final roster. Primarina, Kingler, Aegislash, Beware, and 2 new members of Darmanitan, the Angie Fire Monkey, and Duraludon, the, you guessed it, gun. Look, I've seen the power of being able to pull up with a gun. I think I'm gonna need that in the fights that are ahead of me. With these changes, I was able to rematch Wally and take home the win this time. This is it. These guys are my team, and they're the ones I'm gonna become the best with. While doing some final training before the Elite Four, there was just a little tiny, unexpected hiccup along the way.
What was that? Oh my, Freddy, you would never. He would never.
I have to teach you.
I'll get rid of Earthquake for Bite of 87. 5 nights? What? What is... What the...
Perish song.
Oh my, Freddy, what am I turning into? You're not like this, Freddy.
For those of you who are unaware, Five Nights is basically an unhinged version of Perish Song, where after 5 turns, both Pokemon on the battlefield are hit by a 250 base power attack. And Bite of 87 is straight up a brand new one-hit KO move, where if you get bit, you die instantly. But there's only a 30% chance of it actually connecting. High risk, high reward type move. Equipped with a plethora of new threatening moves and mons, my team was now prepared for the final gauntlet. I flashed my badges to the guards and took a step into Sydney's domain. I like that look you're giving me. Let's have a good match. As someone once taught me, you gotta be prepared for the gun. Phoebe was up next with her gamer Pokemon, and even though I was able to take down her team with my loaded Duraludon and shower-giving Primarina, the highlight of the fight was when she brought out a Freddy Fazbear of her own.
Huge win. Beware? Oh, it's Freddy v. Freddy here. It's gotta be Freddy v. Freddy. And you know what Freddy does. Oh, he got the first one! He got it! That's my fucking Freddy right there. Doesn't miss. He hits that frontal lobe every fucking time.
I walked into Glacier's room. Larry, the third fight was against Larry, who normally is a gym leader and Elite Four member in Paldea, but looks like he also works for Hoenn. Jeez, man, 3 full-time jobs? That cannot be legal. You gotta talk to HR. He led with a golem that only knew Stealth Rocks and Explosion, which is chaotically hilarious. But right after that, he sent out a wall of a slacking that took out my Duraludon, Primarina, and Aegislash. Finally, Kingler was able to knock it out after pulling off a few dragon dances. Crab raves. Since I basically had a crab bazooka on my hands, Kingler just swept him from there. After the Larry jump scare, I didn't even know what to expect for the final member. It could genuinely be anyone. Cynthia? Red? Claybutt again?
What? No! You're joking! He's in the fucking vent. No! Wait, I'm facing the wrong way.
I didn't know that's what happened. Put them in from that side. I'll be honest.
Not only was I flashed for simply going about my E4 challenge, but Elite Four Sussy Baka and his sus team went dummy mode on me.
I'm scared, so I shoot. Oh no! Wait, this isn't good. This thing's gotta go. No, he's faster! He's dead. What? I thought... No!
do.
No, he avoided it. No, Krabby, I'm sorry. Ah!
I was not anticipating a battle where their whole strategy was to hide in vents scattered all over the room, and when they popped out, they hit like trucks. Not even my Five Nights attack could hit them in the vents, which meant I was just getting my own mods attacked by animatronics. Admittedly, we were vaporized. But shut up! There's nothing in the rules about trying again. It's not a Nuzlocke. I refused to call it there because I will not let my legacy end with. Hey, see that girl? She was on her way to become the next Hoenn champion, but she couldn't get past Elite 4 member Sussy Vodka. Poor thing. The second battle went much better because not only was I able to play around all the venting, but halfway through the fight, Kingler finally learned a better crab move. This whole time, I was being forced to use 50 base power vice grip, but now that we've got 100 base power crab hammer, it was lights out for these imposters. And with that, it was time. All that stood left in front of me was the chin. Wallace. Which makes sense because Steven was definitely fired after that Maxi fight. Out came his first Pokemon, which was a simple why not. Now let me explain something here, because this thing is far more threatening than you could ever believe. This game has introduced so many new types into the world of Pokemon. Many of them are extremely powerful, but there's one type that reigns amongst them all the absolute worst, and that's baby type. It's pretty self-explanatory which Pokemon fall under the baby category. Igglybuff, Cleffa, Budew, Bonsley, literally the baby Pokemon. You know what this type is weak to? Literally like all of them. Think about it. If you hit a baby with anything, they're gonna be taking damage. It's a baby. So now you're probably thinking, okay, so why does the final boss of Hoenn lead with why not the baby type? It's also Uno reverse. That's right, every single type effectiveness against this thing is now flipped. It's a defensive monster, just waiting to counter and mirror coat your whole team to death for simply breathing on it too hard. I was genuinely so scared of this thing, I dragon-tailed it out of there. That's a nightmare for another time. Zlatios got dragged out, which is crazy to say I was relieved to see compared to that masochist of a why not, but of course, it's still a Latias, so it takes out my Duraludon with a single Thunderbolt. Kingler comes out to finish it off, so next came Silvally, which I'll just let you watch how this one played out.
I don't think I'd get past this thing. What even is this type? Type Emerald?
He's a type.
Type. I don't even know what that is, but it's gotta be weak to Monkey.
So type is more of a modifier than anything. It just doubles all type interactions.
Oh shit.
So
Okay, so I die here. What?
So here's a little glitch. Sometimes, let's say the max damage you can deal is 999. If the
Oh,
register
no.
is doing 4, it overflows into 1 HP.
So this is Darmanitan died and came back to life basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, that gives us enough time to Banana Blitz again. Yeah!
We take those, alright? Nope, I don't want to hear it. We take those. The next chunk of the battle plays out pretty normally. Wallace did have some pretty scary Pokemon, including Steven's Metagross, he very likely lost custody of, until I was face to face with this stupid little bomb again. It tried everything it could to bait my Aegislash into attacking it, but we stayed patient. I knew I had a single shot at this, so Aegislash charged up as many sword stances as it could muster before slicing that thing to the moon. A final beast entered the ring, a true abomination called Sans Shedinja. This is the only Pokemon in the dex with the Sans type, and it can only be touched by a very small selection of types, a tried and true nightmare. Unfortunately for you, Wallace, I've played the genocide route of Undertale. I know exactly what it's gonna take to bury this thing for good. And he's right here. It's a beautiful day, sans Shenanigans, but insects like you should be burning in hell! I did it. The strongest Pokemon trainer in this wacky world of Hoenn is me. It took so much more than I thought it would to be here. Way more humiliating wipes than I'd like to admit. I lost a lot of battles. But shut up! You try playing it then. With the power of friendship, logic, determination, and maybe just a little bit of love, we've beaten Pokemon too many times.
And with that, we're pretty much wrapping up on 2024. This was a big Jaden year for many personal and content related reasons, and I just wanted to say thank you